Des Moines, and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, 6 minutes after the hour on the 14th day of December in the Lord's year 2015. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Don't forget, there are lots of families that need your help this holiday season. There are a lot of single moms who are trying to do this all alone for whatever reason. I'm not trying to fault anybody. It is what it is. Please go through a reputable organization to designate these folks so you can help them. Scams around the holiday season, well, scams run their highest around the holiday season. And so just, you know, my wife and I have always, my wife was a single mother when I first met her. And we've always had a special place in our heart for single moms. And so we seek out single moms during the Christmas season to make sure they have a good Christmas, especially the kids. You know, it's really not about, it's about mom, but it's really the little kids that are suffering. But we've been caught a couple times. We've been absolutely bamboozled because we would try to find these through friends of friends, or, you know, they don't go to a church and they're not on the radar and they're not in human services. Some of these moms are, some of these adults, male or female, they're proud. They don't want handouts. They don't want to go to the food bank. They don't want to go to Goodyear. Okay? They just don't. So they go without. So if you are involved in a ministry like that, either through church or through a not-for-profit, just make sure it's all up and up. Okay? I don't want to see your Christmas cheer and your Christmas generosity be spoiled by, you know, the bad apple in the bunch. All right, 8.5 minutes after the hour, Frank the Verse Thomas in the studio, along with Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, and my special guest today is MacKenzie Dreeszen and her fiancé, John Thompson. MacKenzie works with the Polk County Republicans. John also works in the political arena. You ran for state treasurer last time.
Right.
Yeah. And they're both here, and we're going to unravel kind of a difficult story. And I'm going to go slow with this because to be honest with you, I can't believe parts of it. Now, this story was Shane the first one that uncovered it?
Actually, there was an article in Breitbart right before that. Yes.
Okay. So KTIA's The Truth 99.3's own Shane Vanderhart and Meyer, who do a show on, I think it's Saturday morning, called Caffeinated Thoughts. There's also a blog there. You can go and read the whole story there. And I have, 9, 10, 12 pages here in front of me on the story. But let's start out. Where are you from?
I grew up in Iowa City, but then I went to Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa, and I've been living in West Des Moines for over a year now.
All right. And John told me earlier that your grandfather was a state representative?
State senator, yes,
state senator?
Yep,
okay.
In the early 80s.
All right. Is he still with us?
No, he's not.
Okay. Did that kind of spark your interest?
You know, it did. When I was growing up, my parents were both very staunchly conservative, and politics were a part of every family discussion, it seemed like. We would have stimulating debates, and so I became very interested.
Yeah, did you do debate and stuff in high school and then in college?
I did not. Actually, I was homeschooled, and at that time, I was open enrolled to Cedar Rapids, so going back and forth every day to do debate wasn't really an option.
No.
However, I did do mock trial when I was in college because it was something I had always wanted to try.
Oh, good.
And so then I was actually the president of my mock trial team as well as the captain of the varsity squad my senior year.
At Cornell?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Frank.
Were you openly conservative in college?
I was. At that time, I wasn't a politics major. I didn't plan on going into politics, but politics was a hobby for me. So I volunteered on several local House races in Lynn County. I would go to Lynn County Republican Central Committee meetings. I caucused in Lynn County. And I also helped bring back the Cornell College Republicans. The group had kind of died off before I got to school. But then I revived interest in the group, and I was actually secretary of the Cornell College Republicans for 3 years while I was there.
So at the time, how was that received? I mean, amongst your peers, were you kind of ostracized, or was you accepted as a conservative?
I would say for the most part that I was accepted. I won't say that Cornell was perfect. There definitely were times, whether it was in the classroom or for attending different political events, that I would maybe get a little bit of ostracism, but it wasn't to the degree of what I'm experiencing today.
I never want to put words in your mouth. Okay, so don't ever let me do that.
Sure.
But what I kind of hear you saying is there was two sides on campus.
There were.
And you were very visible on one side.
Yes.
And those people that were equally as passionate that you were also a little outspoken.
Correct. And, you know, a good example that I have from my time there was before the 2012 election, the college Republicans and college Democrats hosted a debate where we came together as two different groups, and we came up with 5 issues that we were going to debate. We would have one person from each side who had an allotted time to debate those issues. And at the time, I had a college sorority sister who was very involved in the college Democrats, and she and I debated women's issues. And we were friends before the debate. We were friends after the debate. There were no hard feelings. Women's
health issues such as abortion, Planned Parenthood.
Correct. And pay equality as well.
Okay.
I would say the scary trend emerging here, I mean, it's, academic institutions should foster debate. They should listen to dissension. They should be an environment where people are safe to talk and maybe have differences. The scary thing that's coming out recently, though, is if somebody disagrees with you, it's just a matter of shouting you down and calling you a racist or any other kind of pejorative that they can make it so you're afraid to actually speak.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, that was a good example that I gave, but I can also tell you that there was a time in an American history class that I took where there was one very outspoken, liberal, feminist student who, anytime a male student would even try to answer a question, she would glare at them, she would roll her eyes at them, and she would shout them down. And the professor just stood there and accepted it. And I can tell you this professor was a liberal feminist herself. And another example that I would give is that I was a Spanish minor, and I took a class from a Spanish professor who immigrated to the United States from Chile, and she was teaching us that America was this bad, evil country that did all these harmful things in Latin America. And what I so desperately wanted to ask her was, if you think this country is so terrible, why are you teaching at one of our colleges?
And what was her answer?
I never asked her that, but
right.
Was there anyone on campus in your time there that you could identify as what you might call, quote unquote, a language police or politically correct speech police? I mean, was there an organization, or was it just the eye rolls?
I'd say it was incredibly commonplace, and to be honest, there were so many organizations there promoting that it's really not even possible to single out any individual organization.
It's been a long time since I had anything to do with a college campus, other than I get invited sometimes over to Drake to talk to the journalist students or whatever. And I went to, I don't know if you know, I bet she could guess. Don't you think she could guess? I went to the greatest college in the world, because we had the greatest football team that ever took the field. And the fans are the most arrogant, pompous fans you'll ever meet. And the letter on our helmet stands for knowledge. Any idea what that'd be?
It's not Army.
No, it's not Army. That's good. It's Nebraska. We're horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. And even the most liberal there was pretty much a, what would you, not a conservative, John, but middle of the road.
Sure.
We just didn't have a lot of liberals over there. And it seems like on small liberal colleges, it's become almost a workshop for political liberalism. And that's kind of what you're finding out.
It absolutely has. When I look at Cornell, I think it's become a cesspool that it started out as an issue with the sorority, but I think now when I look at it, it's become an issue of the college itself.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, and I'm going to jump ahead just for a second, then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back. Your sorority, Delta Phi Delta, has removed you from the alumni list. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Because you are pro-life. I
would say that is the reason, and I know that they'll try to tell you otherwise, but that is not true. I honestly don't believe that this would have happened if it hadn't been for me being so vocal about my pro-life views.
So it's not, in your opinion, MacKenzie, it's not that you're pro-life, it's that you, oh my gosh, you tell somebody.
Correct. And I think because I didn't take...
You haven't burned any abortion clinics or thrown any... You haven't been violent in any way?
Oh, no.
Okay. I knew that. I just wanted to ask. You started to say what?
Oh, well, what I was going to say is I think what it boils down to is they attacked me. They attacked my friends. They tried to sabotage my livelihood by making some of these personal attack comments on the post. And because I didn't take their side, then they decided to revoke my status.
I will read you the letter that MacKenzie got from someone at the Delta Phi Delta sorority. Well, I guess there's 3 people, Sarah, Carly, and Kathleen. And then we'll also read the reply. I mean, this is one nice thing. We have a paper trail here, so we know exactly what was said. But I hope you just heard that last part of what MacKenzie said. They tried to sabotage her career. They tried to take money out of her pocket, ruin her career. That's the level in which the left, the progressives, the low information voters are willing to go. We'll talk about that when we come back. Live here on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
from the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Minutes after the hour. 14th day of December in the Lord's year 2015. J. Michael McCoy. Hey, thanks for listening. If you just found this radio station, we're kind of brand new. We've been up in Boone for about 6 years. And then last fall, we received permission from the Federal Communications Commission to grow our potential audience huge by moving our tower and transmitter into the Des Moines area. And then, and it's a God thing. And I know maybe you're not a big God person. Maybe you don't believe in miracles. Maybe I don't know what you feel. You can feel whatever you want to feel. It's okay. But a month and a half, 2 months after we get established here in Des Moines with our format and our talk and everything we're doing, our number 2 competitor, 98.3, decided to change formats. And when you were at 98.3 and you didn't like it and you pushed scan, guess what the next station was? 99.3. So as Chris said earlier on the phone, we've got a lot of new listeners, and we thank you for listening. 11 in the nighttime till 11 in the morning, we're preaching and teaching. Local and national preachers and teachers. We're not anything weird. You know, we don't have Joel Osteen. Oh, did I just say that? And then 11 in the morning until 11 at night, local and national talk show hosts, myself from 3 to 5, Steve Deace from 8 to 11. So just try us out. Tell us what you think. And I like it when you tell me you like what you hear, but I need you to tell me when you don't like it. Does that make sense to you? Think of me as a chef, and I've just made you one of my special cheeseburgers, and you loved it, and you told me, and then you came back with friends, and you loved it, and you told me, and then you came back with friends, and not so good this time. I need you to come back to the kitchen and tell me. Get on Facebook, private message me. I don't care how you do it. You're not going to offend me if you want to do it in a public way. I don't get offended. Hardly at all. I was going to say not easily, but I don't even get offended easily. I don't care. But I do care. I don't care about how you do it. I just care that you do it. So I'll take it any way you want, but I want to hear it. All right. I want to introduce you to my guest in studio today, MacKenzie Dreeszen, who is a fundraising consultant for the Polk County Republican Party, told our own Shane
Vanderhart.
Thank you. Getting old. Alzheimer's sticking in. Told Shane at Caffeinated Thoughts that her alumni status had been revoked by her sorority, the Delta Phi Delta, at Cornell College because of her pro-life views. Now, these views were in plain sight when MacKenzie was there. She was the president of the mock trial group. She actually debated a fellow student on women's rights. Would that be the right thing?
Yes.
And obviously you talked about reproductive rights and things like that, so it was never a secret. MacKenzie has not firebombed anybody. She has not called them any dirty names or any PC unacceptable names. She simply just put out there what she believes. And then one day she receives this letter. Good evening. I am writing to you on behalf of the, I don't know what the triumvirate?
Triumvirate.
What is that?
It's their leadership. The way the Greek system does it is rather than have like a president, treasurer, secretary, they kind of combine the 3 major offices of treasurer, CR, which stands for campus representative, and secretary into one leadership role.
So I'm writing you on the behalf of the leadership of the Delta Phi Delta to inform you that you have been taken to a judicial board based on the disregard for Article 3, Section 2, Subsection 2, quote, unquote, members should respect each other and the group. You were given a trial. By the way, did you know you had a trial?
I was not aware that I had a trial until I received this letter from them.
So don't you have a right to say face
your accusers?
You do, and I know that because I was on the judicial board when I was a member of the sorority, and I know that the proper disciplinary action was, someone could take someone to J board for pretty much whatever reason they wanted. And that person then had a chance to defend themselves against the accusations being brought against them, and they would have a trial, and then the judicial board would decide on an appropriate course of action.
Well, there is a caveat to that, too. It is absolutely unprecedented for this to happen to an alumni. The judicial board, within the Constitution of their charter, is simply for active students.
You were given a trial, and the judicial board decided that the best course of action based on offenses was revocation of alum status. With this punishment, you will no longer be punishment. I just caught that word. So they wanted to punish you.
Yes.
With this punishment, you will no longer be allowed to attend events from the sorority, and the removal of the word alum on your family line will be active immediately. While the judicial board was unanimous in this decision, you have the right to appeal this decision, and it will be taken to the group to vote on. If this is the course of action you choose to take, you must respond by email by a date a couple months ago. If you choose to accept this punishment and acknowledgement through email, we would very much appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah, Carly, and Kathleen. All three women, I'm assuming you know.
Yes.
Okay. And did you give them an email by that date and ask them for further look at it?
I did. I responded by basically laying out for them why they didn't have the authority to do this. I explained to them that there is no procedure for taking an alum to J-Board, and I explained that they did not use due process because they didn't even notify me that they were having this trial. They just had a trial and then notified me of the results later. And so therefore, I did not see their decision as valid. I was not going to recognize their decision as valid. And if that was the case, then I would request that they be taken to judicial board.
Yeah.
And another thing worth mentioning on that is the timing of this was immediately before homecoming. And it was done that way purposely because not only did they want to make this an issue when everybody was coming back, but they wanted to make sure they can get everybody on board that had left and come back.
Frank?
We've been preached to, I don't know how many years now, probably 10, maybe 15. I don't know. I lose track. Time goes when you're having so much fun. But this word tolerance has been preached to us that we need to be tolerant of each other. How tolerant of your views do you feel those three names, Carly, I can't remember the other two, how tolerant of you do you think they were being?
Oh, not at all tolerant. You know, and it even goes back to the original photo that I posted online where they immediately started attacking me and attacking my friends and attacking my coworkers and calling them names. That to me is where the real intolerance and where the real disrespect for someone else's beliefs was.
What picture did you post?
I posted a photo of people with signs at a rally in front of Planned Parenthood that it was a pro-life rally.
Okay.
So there were over 200 people in Des Moines in front of this Planned Parenthood facility with signs. And so it was just a photo of these pro-life individuals at this rally.
But your sorority sisters have always known where you stand. This isn't like you came out of the closet or something.
Oh,
this is no
not
surprise.
At all. No.
And you were on the board. You were high up in this sorority.
Correct.
President of the mock trial. Frank, go ahead.
Was there any of these signs that were particularly offensive that was there anything readable, legible on your photo that somebody may have taken exception to, a sign on the photo?
I'm sure you probably could read some of the signs, but I certainly don't recall anything that should have been considered offensive.
Is that still on your Facebook, that picture?
Yes, it is.
So if I go back to when?
To August 22nd.
All right, Frank, go ahead.
Because there's always some outliers that will show up at any of these protests and may have something that is purposely offensive.
Sure.
And maybe they're on the left. They're doing it to shoot themselves in the foot to garner attention to their own movement. If you see what I'm saying. So
both of us attended the rally. So we were there for hours, and there was nothing I remember seeing that sparked anything outside of the ordinary.
I would describe it as a peaceful protest. That it was simply people standing there holding signs. No one was obstructing traffic. No one was yelling. It was what I felt a protest should be.
All right, I'm having a challenge coming up.
I would say that there was a heightened attitude against pro-life movement because this is around the time where all these undercover videos started coming out and exposing Planned Parenthood. So people were hyper defensive, saying, well, these are faked videos and how can you do this? And the conversation was, have you watched these? Have you seen what's in these? And they took so much offense because they want to keep their head in the sand. And MacKenzie wasn't even the one arguing.
So do you think this same thing may have happened had not there been these videos that had been being shown on the news networks? Do you think the same? I mean, it's impossible to say, I guess. But do you think what happened to you is in response of that they're just trying to cover all their butts?
To be honest, I think if it hadn't been that, it would have been something else. They would have found another issue that they didn't see eye to eye with me on, and they would have found a reason to take away my status because of that, because that is the kind of thought control that is being preached at Cornell College.
All right, our guest today is MacKenzie Dreeszen, recent graduate of Cornell College. She, I don't know if it matters. Do you think it matters where you work to them? Do you think that was a part of this?
Oh, I think that was a huge part of this.
All right, so she works for the Polk County Republicans, works for our good friend Will Rogers. You have Will on the radio all the time. And they tried to get her fired. They tried to get her not disbarred because you're not a lawyer, but kind of thrown out of the Republican movement that you're a part of and have been since before you went to college. And they took away her alumni status at her sorority in Cornell College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or Mount Vernon, Iowa. Have you ever seen attacks like this? I mean, I heard it's dirty down in the swamps, but man.
You know, and at first, I will admit that I was hesitant to pursue further action on this just because I wondered, was I overreacting? Was it worth it? But then what made me decide that I needed to take action was I thought about, what if this happens to someone else? This could happen to anyone. They could revoke anybody's status because they disagree with them and do it using undue process. And I wanted to make sure that that didn't happen again. And so therefore, I started talking to the media about it. And then shortly after I started talking to the media about it, my fears were confirmed. And that's when I noticed Cornell College has an online forum where they post, things that are going on the campus to engage students and alumni. And I noticed a post where they hosted a forum on Islamophobia. And they, in the comments section, there was one individual who simply asked, well, you had a forum on Islamophobia. Are you going to have a forum on Christianity anytime soon? Just an innocent question. And many of them, the same people who were attacking me and my friends and coworkers on Facebook, started to chime in and were calling this individual names as well and just saying all kinds of offensive anti-Christian statements. And when I saw that they were doing this to another individual, in fact, several individuals were being attacked by this point, I knew that this is a common practice at Cornell College to try and shout people down who don't think the way that they do.
And in that engage, it got worse than shouting them down. The individual they were arguing against turned out was a father of a student at the school. So then people began to chime in that, well, guess what? We found your dating profile online. Should we share that with your son? How about we tell you what your son's doing on the weekend? So it became like actual fear and intimidation tactics.
Well, luckily, we've got 2 more breaks, so we can continue to talk about this. John Thompson is the fiancé. MacKenzie is the young lady who has been absolutely harmed. We'll tell you more later.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
All right, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Lovely Christmas music there by Nathan Thomas from Berean Assembly out in Pleasant Hill. Those CDs available at Berean. I think they're $5. All instrumental. I think he's got one where his daughter sings on there. But nice CD to have playing in the background when you're open presents this year. All right, tomorrow, Pastor Michael DeMastis will be here with Tom Coates, and we'll talk a little bit of politics. It changes every single week. I don't know if you heard the big news last Friday when Donald Trump had one of the largest rallies he's ever had in the history of his campaign. He came out and said that he is an evangelical Christian. So we've gone from, I don't go to God when I've done something wrong. I take care of it myself with Lentz this summer at the
Family Leadership Summit.
Thank you. Frank helps me with my Alzheimer's. And then we went to the state fairgrounds sometime, I think it was in October, to where he brought his Bible out and a picture of him being confirmed and talked about how he was a Presbyterian and grew up in a fairly famous church. Who was his pastor?
Norman Vincent Peale.
Yeah. To now, how it happened, I don't know. We had a conversation about Donald Trump on the radio last, I think it was Wednesday, in which somebody on the radio station called in and said that Trump was not a Christian, which prompted Tana Gertz, who is one of his Iowa representatives, to call in and really lay the law down and straighten this person out. And then all of a sudden, 3 days later, he's an evangelical Christian. Now, I'm not knocking him. Don't hear that. I'm just giving you the facts. You know what my hope is? President or not, my hope is that Jesus mugs Donald Trump. And one day he can proudly say, without a doubt in anyone's mind, that he loves Jesus. That's my hope. Now, whether he sits in the White House or not, that doesn't matter. What matters is maybe we can save this man's soul. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing that Iowa as a whole helps save this man's soul? I think that'd be awesome. All right, my guests today are MacKenzie Dreeszen, who is a former Cornell college student, graduated, president of her mock trial group, very involved with the Republican Party on that campus. Her significant other, fiance officially, right?
Correct, yes.
John Thompson is here with her. John ran for state treasurer. So how'd you guys meet?
It's kind of a cute story, actually. So I was a delegate to the 2014 State Republican Convention, and John was running for state treasurer at the time. So he gave a speech, and he ended up giving the nomination to Sam Clovis, and then he helped Sam Clovis with his campaign. But I saw John speak at the convention, so that was where we met. Then I was working at the Polk County Republican Party as one of their summer door knockers, going around knocking on doors to increase Republican voter registration, encourage absentee ballot voting. And while I was at the Polk County Republican office, John stopped by. He was working for Sam Clovis to drop off some yard signs, and I guess he was instantly smitten with me. I didn't remember him after that. But we became friends after that, though.
Love at first sight, John.
Of course.
And then actually our first date was in January at Steve King's Freedom Summit here in Des Moines.
Boy, you guys are just political animals, aren't you?
And then he actually proposed to me when he got elected to the State Central Committee.
Really?
He went to give his thank you and acceptance speech, and all of a sudden he was down on one knee and there was a ring, and I said yes.
Well, maybe, Frank, we could be witnessing, Bob, we could be witnessing some history here. We may have the governor and the first whatever sitting in front of us.
That's been my goal since I was 14, was to be the first woman governor. But
well, that's why I didn't say first lady. I said, you'd be the first guy if she was the governor, wouldn't you? And you could top Branstad's. What is today? Today's his like 7,500 days or 750, the longest running governor in the United States.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So what happens is MacKenzie is pro-life and shows it and talks about it. It was on campus. It was in debates, et cetera, et cetera. Then she gets a job with the Republican Party, and all of a sudden she gets a letter from her sorority and says, you're out. You can't do that. You're out. In fact, you're so out, we're going to remove your family line from the sorority. Here's the letter she wrote. Dear Sarah, Carly, and Kathleen, I'm responding in regards to the decision of the Judicial Board. As a former member of the Judicial Board, I am familiar with the due diligence that must be followed when there is a formal complaint. I wholeheartedly reject the validity of any decision that you have made and do not waive any form of relief. What's that mean? I don't know what that means.
Basically, it means that I was not going to recognize their decision to revoke my status.
I was not informed of any facts or circumstances of the complaint, only that a decision had been made. Whatever conclusions the board has reached are completely void because they are in violation of the Constitution. Furthermore, for the board to unanimously conduct a trial in violation of the Constitution is also a violation of the Constitution itself and warrants a trial for the members of the Judicial Board. If that's the case, I'm making a formal complaint against those members. And then you go on to talk a little bit more about that. Now, I think it's interesting that one of the state's leading Democrats is a professor there, David Loebsack.
Yeah, I think they call him Professor Emeritus.
Yeah, that means they can put him on the letterhead, but he really doesn't show up very often.
Oh, no, he lives in Iowa City now, so.
And I didn't show up at all. And you really feel that this is not just because of Planned Parenthood and your pro-life stance, but also that you're now involved in state politics.
Absolutely.
Do you? What adjective would you use besides, and maybe these are good enough, but bullying and intimidation? Is there anything you can say that would be any stronger than those two adjectives that you feel like you're being treated like?
I mean, I attacked. I felt like I was attacked, and then I just felt that it was absolutely hypocritical of them to say that I was the one who was threatening and attacking them when I barely even participated in the discussion, and that because I didn't come to their defense when they were the ones who were attacking me, and not just attacking me, but they were attacking other people who I greatly admire and respect, that's where I take issue.
Here's a letter back. While we recognize your concerns and are apologetic in the fact that you are unhappy in the way the proceedings were handled, the decision has been upheld by the majority of the group to revoke your alum status. Judicial procedure is set for actives only. As an alum, there's no precedent that has been set. I guess there just has been.
Yes, I am the precedent now.
Yeah.
So
Good for you. As an alum, precedent has not been set, therefore, through an executive decision between the judicial board and the trial, the trial proceeded as after aforementioned. See, this is why I wouldn't have been a lawyer. Big words like more than 3 or 4 letters confuse me. For ultimate clarity, the reasons that this decision has been made was based on a multitude of reasons, which are listed below. 1, on more than one occasion, you liked the comments made against sisters past and present on social media, including those that were personally attacking to some of them. So now, if you like on Facebook, you can be removed as an alumni sister.
Apparently you can now.
Well, I'm serious. Spend some money. Go back and look at every one of your sisters on every one of their Facebook pages and see what they like.
There is nothing that is a personal status. In the thread that we assume they're talking about, it was a matter of a state representative telling a young lady that your views are not right and this is intolerance. And that is the kind of things that they say are personal attacks.
You disrespected multiple members of the sorority, both past and present, when attention was called to racist remarks and no action was taken. Your job? Are you the Facebook police?
I guess they think they are.
You have expressed the idea that you no longer consider yourself a member of the Delta Phi Delta. How'd you do that?
I think what that was referring to was there was an exchange of messages between me and another alumna after the Facebook post was made that she just launched into me with a string of obscenities, attacking me and attacking my fiance. And
all right, we're coming back. If you got comment on this, you're welcome to call in. You don't need to, though. I mean, isn't this pretty plain what this is? I mean, this is horrible. This is criminal, and Cornell College should be held responsible for it. We'll talk later when we come back live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Oh, the holiday music, the Christmas music, the Noel music, the stable music, the shepherds and the kings and the angels. And it's just grand, isn't it? Just amazing. Played by Nathan Thomas from Berean Assembly out in Pleasant Hill. $5. Yeah, I'm pitching it. I'd like you to help him and his family, and I'd like to have you have that music playing in the background like my family will on Christmas Day when the kids are around and the house is too hot, it's too noisy, and everybody's trying to find the gift card that they thought they put back in the bag, and now they've lost it. So you go through all the Christmas wrappings to try to find that one gift card that was worth $25. I love Christmas. You know, Frank, I hear something you didn't know about me.
What's that?
Before I stopped drinking,
yeah,
I did not like Christmas, and I was public about it.
Yes, you've told me that. You said you and your wife, you've kind of relinquished that.
I've embraced it.
I don't think you still like it as much.
Yes, I do. No, I love it. I have embraced it.
But you've just told your wife, enjoy it to the fullest.
Absolutely. And part of that is me enjoying it.
Okay.
Because just because I'm not yapping about it,
right,
doesn't mean she can't see me sitting over in the corner like a lump of coal.
Okay.
So I have embraced Christmas now. I love it. One of the comments in the letter to MacKenzie was that she made and I'm quoting now, the racist remark in question was the use of the hashtag All Lives Matter, which was posted by a black Republican woman.
Well, it wasn't a woman, but yes.
Black Republican.
Yes.
Now, have you had any correspondence with Jonathan Brand?
I have not at this time, no.
I'm going to ask him to come on this show. I guess I officially just did it. Jonathan, you run a college, and you ought to have something to say about this. Because after all, it wasn't the college.
Correct.
This was the sorority.
Yes.
So as the president of the college, I would hope that Mr. Brand has an opinion. Has he made any statement?
Not at this time, no.
Don't you? Am I wrong? Shouldn't he do something, or am I wrong on that?
You know, I did contact the director of Greek Life. Actually, her official job title is Assistant Dean of Students. Her name is Angie Bowman Power. That I wrote her a letter explaining what had happened. Actually, at first I called her on the phone. And when I called her on the phone and explained what happened, she said, you know, our office doesn't get involved in Greek disputes. We usually like to let the groups settle their own issues amongst themselves. And so then at that time I wrote to the Cornell College Greek Council, which is made up of students from every Greek group and also a few unaffiliated members. And so I wrote them a letter explaining what happened.
John.
It's worth mentioning, too. Do you think the college president would have an opinion on this right now if it was this happened to somebody because of their faith that was not Christianity? If this happened to somebody because they were Arab, their ethnicity?
Absolutely. That's a good point, John. Absolutely. They'd be right out in front. Frank, go ahead.
You know, stuff like this usually happens, and, you know, this may be kind of a sarcastic remark, but it's aimed to be.
Not from Frank.
Stuff like this happens in what they call kangaroo courts and banana republics. Do you feel like your due process as a citizen or as somebody who attended that college has been trampled on?
Oh, very much so. You know, the fact that they couldn't notify me that they were having a trial, they never gave me a chance to defend myself in that trial. And even when they responded, they didn't, you know, they didn't have solid reasons to revoke my status. They were very vague, just saying that I made racist remarks and that I expressed interest in not being Adelphi, which I never did.
All right. For most people, this is radio. We do produce a visual cast. But I want you to just look at me for a second, okay? Tell me how this hurts. Okay, tell me how this hurts that 14-year-old girl whose mom and dad took her to Republican events, to this girl who got asked to marry her at an event when you're fighting for your country and you're giving everybody the right to vote and come out, and then this college attacks you and takes away this thing you had earned. How does that make you feel?
It's incredibly difficult. It's, you know, I didn't want to cause drama. I didn't want to make a scene or create division, which was why I was reluctant at first to even pursue action, because I didn't want to make the situation more inflammatory than it already was.
But MacKenzie, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do... Listen, the progressive, liberal, low information voter, Democrat, whatever you want to call them, they don't get to rewrite right and wrong. That's a God thing. And what you did was perfectly legal and expected of someone in your position. So don't let them shame you. Okay, you did nothing wrong. These people, they're going to know they did something wrong to somebody.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was hard, too, just because I used to be proud to be a Cornell alum. I used to say that I went to Cornell College, and people would say, wow, you went to a great school. But then after this argument over what I thought was an innocent post, I actually had some of these people who I do respect and admire very much who said to me, when they asked me, they said, who are these people who are making these personal attacks against you? Who are these people who are saying these incredibly rude and disrespectful things to us? And I said, those are Cornell students. And they looked at me and they said, well, what kind of college did you go to?
Yeah, that's the question I'm going to ask Jonathan Brand. John, you had a comment?
MacKenzie was proud of her sorority. After I got to know her and I went to her apartment, she lives with one of her former sorority sisters. Their apartment is decorated in their sorority paddles, photos of her sisters. And after this happened, of course her sisters, even the graduates, are thinking this couldn't have happened, and they were pretty harsh on MacKenzie. They've taken this piece of her, and they could not believe that their sorority would do that, to the point that they began to side and realize, oh my gosh, this isn't what we were part of, and they don't want to touch it.
And I think it's too bad too, because when I was at Delphi, we used to celebrate our differences. We used to be able to come together as sisters even when we didn't agree. And I feel that the group has changed into something completely different.
And what it's changed into, my words, not yours, is intolerance, lying, persecution, anything but positive education. I mean, what is a junior in high school, a young lady who admires you, what does she look at now when she thinks of Cornell College? She thinks of bigots. She thinks of racists.
Thought control.
Yeah, thought control. Very good. Liars, hypocrites. Mm-hmm. That's what Cornell College has become through this one act. Now, Cornell College will say, well, it doesn't have anything to do with us. We don't get involved with Greek. Well, you better step up and get involved. You better step up and realize what these people are doing in Cornell College's name. MacKenzie and John, thanks for being here. What's the wedding date, by the way?
Probably the spring of 2017.
Okay.
After the election.
Looking forward to it. If you need a ring boy, Frank can be the ring boy. All right. Thanks for listening. Love it when you listen. Appreciate it. Make sure you tell me what you think. Until we meet tomorrow, remember that tonight, forgive somebody you need to forgive. MacKenzie, forgive them. Because as you forgive, you shall be forgiven. I'll see you in church.